Is Google on pace to become the next Yellow Pages? Very possible. Today, we're going to be talking about AI SEO for law firms. How to not rank on just Google, but how to also rank on ChatGPT, on Claude, on Perplexity, on all these large language models and AI platforms that have extremely high adoption amongst consumers globally. If you've ever found yourself saying, I wish I did SEO in 2005, man, that would have changed my business. This is essentially your next chance at getting in front of a massive change in how consumers look for answers. Now, joining us today is Adrian Gas. He is our SEO specialist at Abogados Now. He's going to be talking to us about how you can rank on these AI platforms so that you don't get left behind in the dust by your competitors who are taking AI SEO super seriously. So why don't we bring up Adrian on the stage? Adrian, thanks for hopping on today, man.
Hey, Hugo. It's very excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
For sure. So Adrian's at the forefront of all things AI SEO with Abogados Now. In fact, we historically never really had an SEO product because I just thought that it wasn't the right time or place for us. But now with this AI environment that we're in, the rules haven't been written, and we kind of get to create this environment along with the rest of the marketplace. So before we get into the how, Adrian, why don't you just walk us through the definitions of traditional SEO versus AI SEO and what the differences are, and just answer this for the
Mhm.
for the attorney that has very limited knowledge of both.
Of course. So, SEO stands for search engine optimization. That's the basics, right? So traditional search engines are Google, Bing, or even Yahoo for some very old school people. The AI SEO term stands for pretty much searching on any LLM platform, which could be ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, or whatever you can think of. So that's pretty much it.
Got it. So with SEO, it's usually like a website will show and other related websites on Google will show up. On AI, let's use ChatGPT, for example, and Claude. Those are two of the most widely adopted ones by consumers as we see it today. They offer insights and perspective, not just links. And I love what you said right here is clients are pre-sold before they even visit you. Do you think it's because consumers see credibility in being linked on the AI platforms more than they see credibility being ranked on Google search?
Yeah, I mean, even more than that, a lot of people is now using these LLM platforms as their, partners in crime. They rely on them to do a lot of stuff, and not only searching but helping them with pretty much their daily life, right? So it is for them um, something that is more trustful than Google. They start to see Google as a place where you can buy a placement or you can try to manipulate stuff. Of course, not for a lot of people, not for all people, but for a lot of people, it still becomes something like that. And GPT or Gemini or whatever is a bit more trustworthy, right?
Right.
So I would say that's the big, shift that is happening right now, and why a lot of people is, starting to search on LLMs instead of traditional search engines. Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels more curated and it's done more intelligently. Why don't we go to the next screen?
hmm
Some examples. So let's talk about how people search for lawyers today and like what that used to look like, what that looks like today, and what it's going to look like in the future.
Yeah, of course. So this is what we're talking about. Traditional Google searches have been there for a long time now, and the personal injury lawyer near me term was became very popular and for a lot of people. The near me type of terms started to become very popular among everyone whenever the proximity type of ranking factor started to come up. Then we're moving to today, which is actually searching on ChatGPT or Gemini, which are completely different systems. Even though Gemini lives within Google, it has their own complete different system than the traditional Google ranks that you are familiar with, right? And of course, a lot of people is still searching near me terms, but a lot of them are actually moving to very specific geo terms like San Diego or something like that, right? Like best DUI attorney in LA or San Diego or San Francisco or whatever.
Right.
And what we expect to be the tomorrow is actually to see AI assistants everywhere. So not only you manually searching for stuff, but making AI to understand your preferences and where you live and pretty much your daily life in order to make searches or recommendations for you, so to say. So that's what we expect to see, in the future.
So it's putting into so it's funny. So with Google, it sounds so obvious, but it's like a lot of people don't really understand the mechanics. With Google, you're giving it everything you know to get the answer that you're hoping for,
Mhm.
whereas AI is just constantly being fed information about you, whether or not you put it in. There's also like the external data that it's collecting, your IP, your browser history, all this other stuff, and then it's making a determination of what to give you, not just based on what you ask, but essentially on who you are, right?
Yeah, the more you use it, the wiser it becomes. So it
Yeah.
starts to learn a lot of things about you, and again, your preference, where you live, what you could be probably searching for based on that information. So it's becoming a more intelligent every time, and
So
that translates into searches, of course.
So it means the results are going to be a little different for everyone to some extent. And so why don't we continue with the deck? Because I think the results, like the way it looks, is important, and how it looks for everyone will effectively be different. So walk us through the differences between how different platforms show results.
Yeah, of course. So, ChatGPT itself will show you results within its own platform. So you need to go to its own site, or if you have the desktop app or mobile app or whatever. Um, at this point, a lot of people is familiar with it, right? So you can type whatever you can think of on the search bar. It could be an informational term or a recommendation or directions to some place or whatever you can think of right now, right? So, in this instance in particular, I'm trying to show how it will look for someone looking for an attorney, right?
Yep.
It is very common for people to search for best of type of terms, right? So it is coming back again to the thing that we were discussing before, like how people are seeing these LLM platforms are very trustworthy. They also like to ask for the best personal injury attorney, or for the best option for me, or for what I should do. I mean, it's more like, I trust you. You tell me what should I choose, right? So the same happens for these commercial type of searches. Whenever someone is searching for an attorney, they will often look for the best one, right? The best personal
Right.
injury attorney in LA that speaks Spanish, for example, right? And this is, of course, coming from a Hispanic, from the Hispanic demographic, right, in the U.S.
How does it make the determination? Like, for instance, this one right here on the far right, the Gemini, the top rated DUI specialist. How does it know to give Rick or G Cole to the user at that moment? Like, what, like, frankly, a lot of SEO, as honest as people want to pretend that it is, a lot of it has to do with manipulation, right? Manipulation of algorithms, manipulation of platforms. So, what are the manipulation tactics that you're seeing working for LLM rankings? And it's okay
Yeah,
if you
so
don't get to reply, it's no big deal.
Yeah, so it really depends a bit on the platform. Some of them have their very small tweaks that you can try to optimize for, right? So when it comes for GPT, what we have found is that GPT relies a lot on your online presence out there. So the more articles you have out there, the more press releases, the more mentions, brand mentions, or community mentions you have out there, then it's more likely for GPT to show you on that list, because it understands it all as you being very relevant on the internet space, on your niche, right? So let's say Defensor Latino in this instance has a lot of community mentions on Reddit, because a lot of people rely on them, and they are also on featured on a lot of best personal injury type of articles on the internet, right? So ChatGPT is going to crawl all of that and scrape into all of that and figure out that probably that attorney in particular is very relevant for a search that you're doing right now, because they're all over the internet.
So, Adrian, we're seeing with our own clients, but also the industry is seeing referral traffic from LLMs growing. What we're seeing, especially at Abogados Now, when people are looking for best Hispanic marketing agency or best Spanish advertising company or best personal injury social media, Abogados Now consistently goes in that top rank, if not is the only one that ranks. And I think it's because we do a lot of work in creating content like this, educating the market. We write a lot of blogs, we write a lot of newsletters, we maintain our website, our social media accounts. We're seeing that number of traffic from ChatGPT, from Gemini go up. Can you talk to us a little bit more about like how why attorneys should be taking that trend seriously?
So the good first signal that you can think of when we're trying to track traffic coming from AI is the referral traffic. Yeah, right. Because a lot of the answers are going to have you featured on it. So if someone searches something like this, for example, which is an informational type of term, then you're going to appear here as a citation or as a source or something like that, right? So a lot of people are actually clicking on that and going to your site. Now, it's not the 100% of people doing that, of course. So you cannot completely rely on that, but you can definitely rely on the referral traffic as a small signal to try to understand if you're having more, AI traffic. Now, there are a lot of other tools that you can try to use. A lot of SEO focus try to type of tools that you can try to use to track traffic, but not a lot of that. Not a lot of them are refined enough to understand if it's correct, right? So
Yeah.
there are only a few things that you can try to use to understand real traffic coming from AI. Referral traffic is one of them.
Got it. Great. Let's move on to the next slide here. Um, when I talk about like the tactics that we're employing for our AI SEO clients, it seems a lot more involved than what traditional SEO agencies would normally build in to their contract. It's not just backlinks. It's not just maintaining websites. It's not it's not just the technical aspect of making sure tags and things are being indexed correctly. What do you see as increasingly important for AI rankings? Like, what are the things that attorneys need to start producing now differently than when Google was the only thing that mattered?
Yeah. So three main things, at least my opinion, is only presence, content, and authority. And the third one is local reputation signals. So there are a lot of things that you can do around that, and some of that is kind of technical, so I don't want to go very deep into it. But it is the same stuff that we were discussing before. Having a lot of branded mentions out there, having an optimized website for Spanish speakers, having an optimized GBP profile, having profiles for directory listings out there, community mentions, all of that. Just try to be optimized for Spanish speakers and also have a lot of presence out there, a lot of mentions out there internet that can make AI understand that you're relevant in your niche.
Yeah. Do you find that the press releases, press mentions are more important now than they were when it was just search and backlinks at one point?
Yeah, definitely. We started to disregard, press releases or press mentions for a while for traditional SEO whenever they started to go with no follow links, which are basically just, links without um, a lot of juice, right? They don't have a lot of juice to work with, right? And they're obviously less important for Google. They're less valuable for Google. So a lot of people started to disregard, press media, but now, at least in my opinion, it is becoming way more important because even if you don't have a link, it doesn't matter because it is your name being out there. So platforms like GPT are going to scrub the internet, find your name on those articles or those, press releases or whatever, and are going to deduce that you're relevant just for the fact of you being out there, right? A feature in those types of articles. So it is becoming very, very important once again.
This slide really spoke to me because it kind of goes back to what I mentioned in the beginning. All the attorneys that wish they did SEO in 2005, it's like they have a second chance now. What are your thoughts on that notion?
Yeah, I mean, going back to what we were discussing before, at least, well, it's in my opinion the most powerful, feature that AI has right now is that clients arrive pre-sold. That's the most important perk or feature that already has because people really trust AI platforms in order to make their decisions for them, right? A lot of their decisions, and that includes, of course, the attorney that they're going to hire, the PI attorney or the immigration attorney or whatever.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I think of all the advantages here, the pre-sold element, it seems to be more true every month, and not just with AI SEO, just in every channel. If someone's taking the time to call you, the channel that it came from is responsible for having pre-sold your potential client. And so
Mhm.
there's a reality that if you're not doing this, you're just getting left in the dust. I want to take this opportunity here to mention that we have our bilingual AI SEO product that not only puts you in front of consumers in Spanish, but also in English, and not just on Google, but also these LLM platforms, which, like we mentioned earlier, are ever evolving, and for which now we have a department who's kind of just obsessed with the rankings and the success of our clients who use the service with us. That being said, you should reach out to myself directly, hugo@abogadosnow.com, or fill out your information at abogadosnow.com if you want to see if you're a viable candidate for AI SEO. It does come at a premium investment compared to other services, so a call is recommended. However, we offer these in exclusive agreements at the county and or statewide level, depending on your market. We're trying to cover all bases: English and Spanish, the two most dominant languages in the United States, and standard traditional SEO, which is Google, but also AI SEO, which are all these platforms, which we all know are going to be compounding and multiplying by the dozens over the next few years. So if you're looking to get your second chance, please reach out to us. We have an entire team ready to go on exclusive agreements, which is pretty awesome for anyone who wants to take this opportunity seriously. So Adrian, thanks so much for putting this together, man, and to the team that produced this episode. Thank you so much. Again, reach out to us at abogadosnow.com. AI SEO, I have a feeling we're going to sell out of all these by the end of the year. So call us immediately. All right, talk soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. See ya.